2, 1, se viene.
Just what are we facing here?
A relic of the old world.
Oh shit,
Ready your
miren.
men, Captain.
Cinemática.
You only get one chance. And remember, when you hear the whispers, call for help.
Holy, miren eso.
When you hear the whispers, what do you think he was on about?
It's Dorman, right?
Yeah.
Then
Oh
Dorman.
shit.
Shut your damn mouth. Ugh, why do I always get stuck with these rookies?
Hey, the kid's got a mean cleave. Give him a
Está a punto de
chance.
morir alguien. Oh, oh. Okay, headshot.
Sullen!
Quiero ese skill. Quiero ese skill.
A mean cleave, eh, Captain? Rookie can't even lift his own sword.
Uh-oh.
Captain Oren? Captain?
Uh-oh.
It's here. Rain! Send the signal!
What the fuck?
Rain!
Okay.
On my back, Rookie. Blade up!
Come on, come on. I'm ready. I'm ready. It's a man.
No,
Uh-oh.
it's not.
Wait, ¿ese no es el de la campaña?
Run!
Supongo que no puedo subir más, ¿eh? Está un poquito abajo.
Captain!
Oh shit.
Captain!
Ese está ya high level, ¿eh?
Humanity isn't ready.
La humanidad no
On
está
your feet,
lista.
lad.
¿Lista para qué?
Sir,
Wait, ¿ese era el boss?
You'll be fine. Here.
Me dan unas vibras a Hellraiser eso.
what is it?
Mira, no se andan con mamadas, ¿eh?
Get the body.
Stop. Mortal. It can still be contained. You don't know what you have on
Your kind no longer control this world. We cannot destroy your body, it's true. But you will watch as we destroy everything you have built. Bind him!
Oh shit.
Feed.
No pareció un Harbinger.
Oh, my child. I'll make sure you can eat your fill.
Mira, se cayó un pedazo. Está consumiendo cosas. Oh, wow, dude. Esa fue una cinemática gozo, ¿eh? Holy. Bro, literal me olvidé que era para Exile.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Rogers, Game Director on Path of Exile 2.
Ay, Jonathan.
Path of Exile 2 is going into early access in around 2 weeks on December the 6th.
En 2
Even
semanas
though it's
en
early
el Early
access,
Access.
this isn't just some small taste. The game is huge. In this live stream, we're going to be introducing everything you can expect. So without further ado,
En el live
let's
stream va a
roll the
explicar todo
gameplay
lo que va para el
trailer.
Early Access. Y es gigante.
Existence is a thing of beauty, precious, but impermanent. Life and death are mortal enemies, and yet bound to one another.
Holy dude, what the
Continuation
fuck?
of life must be protected at all costs.
Men, no se andan con
Some have
mamadas,
said, my methods are brutal. To this, I say, there can be no salvation without sacrifice.
Mi salvación y sacrificio. Some evil shit. Ascendencia, primera ascendencia que vemos. Por ese la... el de las granadas está roto, men. ¿Qué?
We are faced with the end.
¿Qué fue eso? Me paró con el tiempo. What the fuck? Ok, quiero jugar a Sorcerer. ¿Eso como el nuevo Atlas? Ese es el nuevo Atlas. Damn.
Those who obsess with death, let them soon be acquainted with it.
Ah, mira las manos.
Now, as you just saw, even in early access, Path of Exile 2 is a big game. It's
Incluso en
actually
el
been
Early Access es
5
gigante.
years since we announced POE 2.
Hace
And
5
over that
años lo
time, we've
anunciamos.
revealed a lot, but it's been in bits and pieces. It's pretty hard to keep track of it all, so today we're going to do a full rundown of all the content that will be available at the
Uy, van a
start of
mostrar
early
todo.
access. Classes, character progression systems, and for the first time, a full overview of the Endgame.
Oh,
This
se
is
viene
going
el
to be a
game.
big one, so get comfortable. For 20 years, Rayclast has been free from any sources of corruption, but the Count of Ogham, tempted by promises of power, intends to harness it once more. The dead are rising, monsters are mutating, and madness is spreading. Under the
Todo esto
dark
en lore.
influence of corruption, the Count doles out sentences of death to any who would question him.
Parece que el primer acto es, o la primera parte de la campaña, es todo en el... con este conde que está corrompiendo la tierra.
And this is where you find yourself at the start of POE 2.
Aquí donde te encuentras.
Explore the dark forests of Ogham. Traverse the barren plains of the Vesteri Desert.
Ajá, todo es
And
desierto.
delve into the jungle ruins of Utsal, an ancient Val city.
Ok. En el
There
páramo,
are challenging monsters,
desierto, junglas.
hidden runes, lost camps and treasures, roaming merchants, and of course, unique bosses. No two areas are the same.
No hay dos
Falls
áreas
to you
iguales.
to track down the seed of corruption, the source of all this devastation. On the way, you'll face fearsome monsters, meet strange characters, forge unlikely bonds, and uncover lost civilizations.
Ok.
But first, you'll need to pick a class.
Rollback al server. Ok,
Now,
clases.
early access will initially have 6 classes available.
6
Let's have a
clases
look
para
at them.
leerle.
The Monk is a fast and furious
monje?
melee fighter. He dashes in and out of combat and has mechanics that involve building up and keeping momentum. Like all classes in POE 2, you'll want to use a wide variety of skills to mix and match different combos. To get new skills, you will first need to find skill gems.
que es
Using a
Tool
skill
Gems.
gem will open the gem cutting menu, which shows all the active skills available in
Esto lo habíamos
POE2.
visto, muy
You can
lindo.
choose an
Ajá.
existing skill to level up, or choose to engrave a new one. Since this is a level 7 skill gem, even if you pick a new skill,
Fíjense
it
que
will
puedes darle
immediately be
all
level
gems
7,
para ver todo.
so there's no harm in trying out something new. The monk primarily uses the quarterstaff. There are 3 schools of martial arts:
¿Verdad? Dos
lightning,
botas.
ice, and wind. But don't think you have to stick to just one. The best combos are going to involve mixing elements of all 3.
Vamos a
Let's try
3
killing
elementos.
palm. Like
Los
many
mejores
monk
combos son
skills, this can
juntarlos
be used to
todos.
quickly take advantage of a specific
Ahí tú
situation.
puedes decidir si
If there's
juntar
an
en
enemy
uno
on low life,
o hacer de
you can
todo.
use killing palm to dash to them and kill them instantly. This will provide a power charge. Then we could use a different skill to consume that power charge for a much more devastating attack.
Están explicando
The monk also
la
has
Power
powerful
Charge,
combo
el monje,
skills.
cómo funciona todo esto. Esto
Tempest
después lo vamos a
Bell,
ver
for
con
example,
calma.
is a skill that places a giant resonating bell.
Así que
Hitting the bell
disfrutemos
causes it to
el
ring,
caos del
dealing damage
gameplay.
to all enemies around it. You can also do things like freeze or shock the bell, which will add elemental damage to the strikes. The monk also has a variety of abilities to empower his staff. If an enemy is close to being stunned, you can use staggering palm to punch them down. After that, any attack you do will shoot out wind projectiles.
Esos enemigos se ven fuertes, ¿eh?
There are 21 active skills for quarterstaves.
Hay
so this just
21
scratches the surface
skills
of the options that you have.
activos para el
In
staff.
game, you'll be
Nada para el
dashing from
staff.
pack to pack, spewing projectiles and obliterating screens of enemies with huge
El
combo
avatar.
attacks.
And is that
Now,
you?
if you like a style of melee that's a little slower but hits much harder, then the warrior is for you.
Melee más
Pounds
lento
the
pero pega
ground
más
with
duro.
big chunky attacks
Warrior.
and can shrug off the hits of small enemies with large amounts of armor. Even though the mace slams are slow, you never lose control. Longer attacks can be retargeted as you go, and if you find
Los ataques
yourself
más largos
committed to
puedes
a long attack, you
retargetear.
can
O sea,
dodge
puedes
roll out
apuntar a
of
un
it at
sitio, dar
any
la
time.
vuelta y pegarle al otro.
Among the skill option for maces, you will find a variety
Nada
of
mal.
slams, fire attacks, war cries, and shield skills. Here, I'm going to slam the ground, rending it apart with lines of fire. Any slam skill will then cause these fissures to erupt with lava. I can even run through them with a skill like Stampede to do huge amounts of damage. The warrior
El
can
warrior
also
se ve muy
use war
cool,
cries,
sinceramente.
which can empower your next skill. Seismic Cry, for example, will double any slams from your next attack. The Stampede counts as a slam, so I can double that for even more craziness. If you want to
Yo
go a
creo que el
little
slam-
faster and be a little
los
more
slams están
defensive,
fuertes.
equip a shield. In POE2, you can raise your shield at any time to block all damage from the front, even spells. While holding up your shield, your stun meter will build
Con el
as you
shield te
take
puedes
damage,
proteger de
so
todos
be
los ataques,
careful.
incluso spells.
If it reaches 100%, your stance will break and you will be vulnerable.
Este es el stagger que se rompe la estancia sin
Some
llegar al
enemies also
100%.
have unblockable attacks, which are indicated by this red flash. If you see one of these coming, make sure to dodge out of the way.
Los ataques que se ven rojos son los que no
Using a
puedes
shield
bloquear.
also gives you
Tienes que
access to shield
esquivarlos.
skills like Shield Charge, which allows you to charge towards enemies and stun them.
Eso está
While
cool.
charging, you're also blocking the whole time, so you have full damage immunity from the front.
Ah, cuando estás cargando estás bloqueando a la
Warrior
vez.
also has access to totems.
Totems?
Some totems have built-in abilities, like Shockwave Totem, which can be placed to stun nearby enemies and trigger aftershocks like those from the earthquake. But you can also get Ancestral Warrior
Oh my
Totems,
God,
which allow you
dude.
to use any slam skill in your repertoire. This is a meta skill, which means that it's a skill you can put other skills into. I can take a slam like Sunder and socket it into my Ancestral Warrior Totem. Now when I summon him, he'll sit there and slam the monsters from a distance. There are 20 active skills for maces, so there's a lot more to try out. But by endgame, you're going to be
Básicamente
dropping
tienes un
damage from the
totem que le puedes
sky,
poner los
moving
slams.
fearlessly into combat, and separating the very earth you stand on.
Damn, dude, eso es genial.
Time for some
martillo.
ranged attacks. The ranger is primarily about the bow, but we wanted to make
Ranger?
sure that she feels agile as well. In POE2, you can shoot while moving. Combined with all the
Todo
skills
eso
the
puedes
ranger
moverte
has
y
that
atacar a
allow
la
you to
vez.
jump around, you will have a lot of mobility in combat. Bow skills have a variety of lightning, poison, ice, and physical attacks.
Los poison attacks de
Lightning
los arcos se veían muy
attacks bounce
fuertes.
around between targets. You can also stick lightning arrows in the ground which explode when hit by the bouncers, or electrocute
En
enemies to take
realidad
them
no
out
es que
of
le pegue ese
combat.
martillazo en la cabeza o ese columnazo.
Ice attacks allow you to slow and freeze enemies to keep them away from you. Using poison, not only can
Ven
you
qué
slowly
precioso se
damage
ve.
your enemies from afar, but also grow some interesting plants. With 21 bow skills and all the mobility and combo tools the
21
ranger
skill
has,
de
you can
arco.
take advantage of every situation. By endgame, you'll be creating hundreds of arrows, be they falling from the sky, bouncing around between enemies, or spraying out of tornadoes. You might
Ok,
have
no está
noticed in
diciendo
the bottom
para
left of the
exalumno
screen that
eso
the
que
flask
acabo de
slots
ver.
look a little different. In POE 2, you have one dedicated life flask slot and one mana flask slot. Flasks gain charges as you kill
Un flash de mana, un flash de vida.
typically allow you to heal 6 or 7 times if they're full. But that's not the only thing you can use charges for. Charms are a new item type that will automatically defend you from various debuffs or damage types. Having trouble with getting frozen? Equip a Thawing Charm. When it's fully charged, it will make you immune to freeze for 3 seconds if you get frozen. To recharge them, just kill more monsters. You can gain more slots for charms by upgrading your belt.
Ok, o sea,
Mercenary
tenemos 2
wields a
flash,
crossbow that
3
can be
charms.
loaded with different ammo types, offering versatility, power, and mobility. All classes in Path of Exile 2 can be controlled with WASD,
Aquí vamos con el que está
which
roto.
makes this class play exactly like a shooter. For the
La
crossbow,
clase
you will
rota.
find skills that work like shotguns, sniper rifles, assault rifles, and even grenade launchers. But not only that, there are a wide variety of more interesting elemental
Ven,
arrows
está
too.
muy roto el
It's
mercenario.
very fast to switch between ammo types, as long as you already have them loaded, which makes the mercenary able to combo abilities together for devastating effect. Use Glacial Bolt to create walls of ice to separate enemies, then switch to Fragmentation rounds to explode the ice, dealing massive
Mira
AoE
eso, o sea,
damage.
congela a los mobs
If
y
I come
después los
across an armored
explotas
enemy,
con la
I can use
fragmentación.
armor-piercing rounds to break their armor, and then high-velocity rounds to take them down. Or perhaps I could fire a gas grenade to poison enemies before detonating the cloud with an
O sea, el
explosive
mercenario
shot for
tiene
massive
todos los
damage.
elementos. Está roto, men.
If you want to call in some suppressing fire, you can summon artillery ballistas.
Y también tiene,
These
por
have a
supuesto.
minimum range, so you'll want to prepare your position carefully before moving in.
Y por
There are
supuesto tiene
22
balistas
active
también.
skills for crossbows. By endgame, you'll be calling destruction down from the sky as you litter the
Mira
battlefield
eso,
with grenades
men.
and pepper your enemies with your automatic shotgun. If you're looking to take a back seat and let your minions do the work, then the
okay,
witch
son
should be your
minions, yep.
choice. She can call forth hordes of undead monsters to fight for her while casting powerful chaos spells that debilitate her enemies. Occult skills are some of the most varied
No
in the
es mi
game,
build.
with skeletons, noxious spells, specialty minions, curses, and sacrificial magic.
Que no se ve tan
Before we
fuerte.
talk about minions, we'll have to talk about a new resource in Path of Exile 2 called Spirit.
Ah, lo del
This
espíritu.
is a spirit gem, which allows you to pick from a range of persistent skills. All classes have a variety of these skills which can add some very interesting effects, like Arctic Armor, which does cold damage to enemies that hit you, or Raging Spirits, which summon fiery skulls each time you cast a fire spell. For the Witch, though, we'll want to be using our spirit to create permanent minions. These minions will be revived automatically when they die, so you don't have to worry about resummoning them all the time.
Ok, reviven solo cuando se mueren los minions.
Here, I'm using the skill screen to allocate which minions I would like in my horde. You can see the spirit cost of each one. Skeletal warriors are cheap, but weak. Useful for tanking damage and distracting
Son
enemies.
débiles, pero baratos.
But I want more heavy hitters in my army, so I'm going to unsummon some warriors and instead add skeletal arsonists.
Arsonistas.
Permanent
queridos.
minions come with special active abilities called command skills. You can order these guys to detonate your own minions for even more damage and area of effect.
Puedes tener tus propios
If you
minions
want a
si
bigger
quieres.
army, you'll need a scepter. This new weapon type is imbued with even more spirit, allowing you to summon even more friends.
Tiene
And if
más
you want an even
espíritu.
bigger army than that, you can take advantage of corpses to summon true hordes of minions. But what can a witch do while her army is at work? Well, she has a range of chaos spells to spread disease amongst your enemies, or bone skills to impale them. Or, you know, you could curse them to make them weaker so your horde can take them down.
Básicamente
There
la
are
Witch
25 active
tiene
occult skills. By the
25
endgame, you'll be the
skills.
leader of a fearsome army of the dead, consuming everything in its path.
Tienes Chaos Skills, cosas para debilitar las
The sorceress
maldiciones
bends
y los
the
minions.
elements to her will, using them to
Okay,
unleash
that's
devastation
mine.
on her foes.
Esa es la que quiero.
This classic spellcaster weaves a flurry of elemental magic from afar.
Ah, esta es la que quiero. That's
The
mine.
elemental skills have everything you might expect and more. Fireballs, icy explosions, lightning
Mira cómo
storms,
se
you
ve.
get the idea.
Y
Each spell
pensaba
is
que se
unique
iba a
and
ver
has many
lento el
different ways to
gameplay,
build
man.
and combo with others, even between different elements.
Vamos a
For
ser muy
example,
lento el
Flame Wall
gameplay.
conjures a burning line that not only
Es
damages
matarle un
enemies,
monstruo por
also
pantalla.
impales all projectiles that
Mira
pass through
esto,
it.
ven.
If you place a wall and fire lightning sparks through it, they'll gain extra fire damage.
Mira
It's a good
esto.
idea to take advantage of the ability to automatically swap weapons when you use certain skills. Having a special staff with bonuses to fire skills and another with bonuses to lightning skills can really power up a combo like this. The sorceress can also take advantage of powerful trigger gems.
Cast
For
Ignite.
example, you could grab the Cast and Ignite gem and use it with Firestorm. As you ignite enemies, a counter will go up in the top left corner.
Lo de
When
esta en
it's
la
full,
esquina.
a Firestorm will automatically be cast at the enemy that was ignited.
Eso está
There are
bueno, ¿no?
25 active elemental skills.
25.
Like in-game, you'll be firing off projectiles left and right as you rain down elemental storms
Damn,
on your
dude.
foes.
Quiero
Now,
eso, man.
those are the characters that will be available at the start of early access.
Esos son los
We'll
personajes
be
que va a haber en
adding
el Early
6 more
Access.
character classes with just as many skills and options as these.
No hay druida
There's a
todavía.
lot more to come.
Ni...
There's one more important thing to mention about skills. Even though we talk about them as belong to each class,
Aunque
in
hablemos que las
reality,
skills
there are no
pertenecen a cada clase,
restrictions.
tú
You
puedes agarrar
can
lo
use
que tú quieras.
all these skills on any class so long as you have the attributes.
Si tienes los atributos, los puedes
For
usar.
example, a poison ranger might want to try out using occult curses to increase her poison damage.
There it is.
Or a monk might want to trigger elemental ice walls to use with his glacial cascade combo.
Oh my god, mira cómo
Possibilities
se
for
ve eso.
cross-class combos are practically unlimited. We're looking forward to what kind of things you guys might find. Now, Path of Exile is a game known for build customization, and we haven't even scratched the surface of
Y la
what is possible
campana
yet.
con la metralleta, boludo.
So let's talk about support gems.
No lo había pensado, pero
Path of
sí.
Exile 2 has a system of support gems that can be combined with your active skills to
Qué
dramatically
roto.
change the way they work. If you find a support gem, then right-clicking it will open up this screen. Here you will find a variety of recommended support gems for
Está
each of your
explicando cómo
skills that you
funciona
can pick
esto
between.
para linkear los skills y todo
For
esto.
example, this is a multiple projectiles support gem and
Tengo
can
que
be used
moverme
to
a cada
add multiple
lado.
projectiles to any skill. Normally, when you fire a grenade, it'll look like this. But if we add multiple projectiles, then you get 3 of them. Once you have the gem, you can also freely move it between any of the skills on your character. If you want to have a multi-shot sniper rifle instead, then simply move the gem over to your high-velocity round skill. Generally speaking, if it sounds like a support gem should work with a skill, then it will work.
Generalmente
So
si
it's a
suena
good
como
idea
que
to
la
experiment.
support gem debería funcionar con
Note that
skill
you
para
can only
funcionar
have
con
one
skill.
of each support gem on your character.
Solo
so
puedes
you'll
tener
want to
uno de
think
cada
carefully
tipo,
about
ya lo
which
habíamos hablado.
supports can be used best with each skill for maximum damage.
Exacto. Entonces solamente puedes
If you
tener
want to
una
stick
support
to the
gem en tu build
recommendations,
como tal. O
you
sea,
should
un
have a
solo
perfectly
laser
good
múltiples
time.
proyectiles, por
But
ejemplo.
if you want to experiment a bit more, then uncheck that recommended button and you can see the full list of supports that will work with your skill. There are hundreds of support gems to choose
Hay
from.
cientos de
And
support
even we don't
gems.
know the results of all the possible ways these can interact.
Ni siquiera
Each
nosotros
skill
sabemos lo
can
que
have
va a
up to
ocurrir.
5 supports socketed into it. And if you're clever, you can come up with some pretty interesting ideas. Now all of this
What?
is just
¿Eso le
scratching
subió
the
un
surface.
socket?
You can make frost vortexes, break people's armor, make minions explode, make skills repeat, make enemies set each other on fire, cull enemies, or pin them to the ground. Supports let you drastically change the behavior of your skills and create your own unique build, or at least follow someone's OP build guide. So, speaking of builds,
Oh
let's talk about
my
one of
God,
the most
dude.
iconic Path of Exile systems, the passive skill tree.
Oh my
Yes,
god,
it's
dude.
huge. There are over 1,500 nodes on there.
Más de
Now, a lot of people
580
open the
nodos.
tree and can get a little intimidated at first, but try not to be scared. There are lots of options, but at its core, it's pretty simple. Each level you get 1 point to put into the tree.
Cada nivel
Each
tienes un
class
punto.
starts at a different location, but they all share the same tree.
Todos tienen el mismo árbol.
Around your section of the tree, you'll find relevant bonuses for your character. You should be safe in the knowledge that there aren't many wrong choices here. Almost all the starting nodes will be useful for your character in some way.
Qué
But if
cool
you
eso
do
que
happen
puedes
to make a
elegir el
choice you
nodo de
regret,
viaje, lo que
you'll
tú
be
quieras,
able to
de
respec
destreza,
any nodes you've
inteligencia
taken by
o
spending a little
strength.
bit of gold.
Gastas un poquito de oro y puedes respectear. Man, está buenísimo.
Now, the tree is generally divided up into clusters which have similar themes.
Está
In
buenísimo
each
eso.
cluster, you will find small nodes that give simple bonuses like increased damage, but the real power comes from notables.
Exacto, en el notable el 7.
Notables normally have much more interesting bonuses, and they tend to care a lot more about how your build works and what skills you're using. For example, in the mercenary area of the tree, this one gives a 25% chance for crossbow skills to not consume a bolt. And here's one that gives grenades a chance to blow up a second time. This one gives a chance for projectiles to rebound off terrain, as well as giving you some pierce chance to make that more likely. Note that even though this is in the mercenary section, this would work with projectiles from all classes. So there are often reasons to go
Aunque
to
esto
different
está en la
areas of the
sección del
tree.
mercenario, puede funcionar con cualquier clase, claro.
In order to get between these clusters, you will generally have to allocate nodes in the attribute highways. Attribute nodes allow you to pick which attribute you would like to use, so it's very easy to get points for any attribute that your gear might need. You can change
Eso
which
está muy bueno.
attribute these nodes give you for half price at the respec vendor.
Lo puedes cambiar por la mitad de
In addition
precio.
to notables, you will also find even larger passives called keystones.
Qué bien,
Keystones
men,
have
no
both
tienes que
an
cambiar
upside
todo
and
hasta
a
llegar ahí,
downside,
solo cambias ese
and
nodo y
often
ya.
require changing your entire build to design around them. A great example is Giant's Blood, which allows you to wield two-hand weapons in a single hand, but doubles the attribute requirements of them.
Puedes usar
You can
armas de
use a
dos manos en
two-hand
una
mace with
sola
a shield,
mano.
or even dual wield them.
No, pero el build de Asmongold. Ok.
Or how about Mind Over Matter, which makes all damage go to your mana pool first before your life pool, but you lose 50% of your mana regen.
Todo el daño
Skills
va al
like
mana
these can
primero.
be tough to build around, but if you're up for the challenge, they can be very rewarding. As we showed you earlier on the Sorceress,
Bro,
you can swap between weapon sets on the fly as you use certain skills. One of the new features in Path of Exile 2's passive tree is that you can choose to have your passive tree change as you switch between weapon sets to take advantage of specific bonuses on the tree. For the Sorceress, you might want to change between fire and lightning specialization.
Tienes los dos
Or
sets
you
de
can switch
árboles.
between one hand and a two-hand setup in order to be able to block boss attacks while following up with heavy hits from your bigger mace.
Me encanta
Perhaps
que
you
sea
could have a full
automático.
curse setup on your witch to debuff enemies before switching to a chaos degen build for
Oh my
maximum
God,
damage.
se ve tan precioso.
If you want to stick with just one weapon set, you can just use these specialization points as bonus points to invest however you like, but creative players will find plenty of opportunities with this system. You can get weapon specialization points throughout the campaign from optional bosses and quests. For example, if I manage to defeat the Crowbell, I'll get a weapon specialization book. There are lots of other permanent
Los
boosts
quests te
available
dan
from the campaign
cosas,
too.
te dan los puntos.
On the map, you can see icons that indicate the many optional encounters
Eso
you can
parecía un
find.
parry cuando lo paró y
Some
se
of them have
estudió,
permanent
¿verdad?
character boosts, and others have powerful items. If you're having trouble getting past a boss, it might be a good idea to explore and see what you can find. For example, if you defeat Blackjaw the Remnant, you'll
Uy,
get a
qué duro del
permanent
fuego.
increase to fire resistance. One of the most important finds are spirit bonuses. You can find the first one here in the canopy in Act 1. Defeat the boss in this area to acquire a permanent addition of spirit. The permanent buffs you gain from spirit are very powerful, and every class will find a use for them. So make sure you
Espíritu
hunt down these
permanente.
upgrades.
O sea que
There's
hay
one
que
in
hacer
each
todas
act.
las cosas secundarias.
Now we haven't even talked about the most important element of character progression, items. That's why we're all here, right? Items in Path of Exile can be broken down into 4 rarity groups: normal, magic, rare, and unique.
Okay. El
One
range
of
se
the
ve muy
things you're going
similar
to
al
want to
otro.
do as you play through the campaign is upgrade the items you find, and you can do that with currency items. An Orb of Transmutation will allow you to upgrade a normal item to a magic item with 1 mod. You can then apply an Orb of Augmentation to add a second mod,
Okay.
and use a Regal Orb to add a third
Todo
mod,
normal a
and
como
upgrade it
funciona
to
ahí.
a rare. Finally, you can use some Exalted
Todo
Orbs to
normal a
add
como
more mods to
conocemos.
your rare to a total of 6 mods.
Augmentation, Transmutation, Regal y
One of the
Exalt
things we think
igualitas a
is
Path of
really
Exile 1.
important is to make these options available to use as you play. All the items that add mods are much more common than they were in Path of Exile 1, so that you can use them throughout your campaign playthrough. We want you to
Todas las
find
que
things on
dan
the ground that
mods
can be crafted
van a
into
ser más
upgrades much more
comunes que
frequently.
Path of Exile 1.
As well as making the drop rates on these items much more common, you can also get them by disenchanting unwanted gear at the magic item vendor.
Puedes
If you disenchant
desencantar
magic
items.
items, you can build up
O
to
sea,
an Orb of
por fragmentos.
Transmutation, and by disenchanting rares, you can
Fragmentos
build
de
up to
items.
Regal Orbs. Another important area of crafting items in PoE 2 is sockets. Some items you find will have
Sockets?
sockets that can have Ezomite runes placed
Oh.
in them that add more mods to the item.
Oh,
If I insert
más
this
items
glacial
con las
rune into my
runas.
helmet, it will give extra cold resistance. This is a great way to solve problems that you have with your build, like resistances or damage.
Oh.
If you find socketed items that you don't have a use for, you can take them to the salvage bench in town to work towards an Artificer's Orb. This will allow you to add sockets to your existing items. Body armors and two-hand weapons can have up to 2 sockets, while the rest of
Alright.
your armor and one-hand weapons can only have 1 socket. You can also salvage items with quality to create items like armor scraps or whetstones. These will allow you to increase the quality of your items for an up to 20% boost.
Ok, así como conseguimos las whetstone y todo
If you
esto.
don't want to disenchant or salvage your items, you can always sell them for gold. Gold can be used to buy items from vendors, and we've tried to do a lot to make sure that the items they have for sale are actually useful. Every time you level
Intentaron que
up,
los
they
items
get
que
more
se
stock,
venden
so
sean
make
muy
sure to
útiles.
check back often.
Sobre todo durante la campaña.
Other vendors offer a gamble. Pay a flat amount of gold and you'll get a random
Una
item of
gamba.
a specific type. This could be a great way to improve your gear, if you're lucky.
Sí
Gold
tienes
is
suerte.
also used to respec your passive skills. Take advantage of this system to experiment with your tree and rework it as required. The other thing you might want to use gold for is the currency exchange. This allows you to exchange currency items with other players on an open market.
Pero no
in
es
exchange for
Fausto,
a
es
small
esta pana,
gold
es
fee.
Alba.
Now, all items in Path of Exile are freely tradable. We never bind anything to your character, except gold.
No hay nada bindeado en tu personaje excepto el oro, que eso puedes tradear con otras
Now,
personas.
most gear in Path of Exile 2 is randomly generated, but there's another type that isn't: uniques. They
Todo
are
es al azar,
especially
excepto los
rare,
únicos.
each with a handcrafted set
Toda esta
of
parte no la
unusual
explico
mods
mucho
which
porque es
can
lo que ya conocemos,
dramatically
¿no?
change a character's build. They're not just better rare items, they can do much stranger things that can fundamentally change your
Estas
character.
son las botas que cuando te pegan te dan velocidad de movimiento o
Corpse
te
Wave will
quitan.
make any corpses you run through explode into clouds of poison. The Sands of Silk is a body armor that changes your dodge roll into a blink, morphing you into sand as you teleport past your foes. And of course, some uniques are just pure hits of dopamine, like Quill Rain, which just turns your bow attacks into full auto by doubling your attack speed.
Pero pegas un poquito menos.
Each unique is something that you can build your character around. We try to make sure that most unique items have a potential use at endgame, even if you
qué
find them
cool
early
se
on.
ve.
And as you can see, every single unique item comes with custom art to match.
Jeez, dude.
The last character progression system that you can do during the
Okay,
campaign
here
is
we go.
Ascension.
Aquí, para los que jugamos POE.
Starting in Acts
A
2,
ver.
you will come across Ascension trials, tests that you must complete to unlock your Ascension class. We'll explain these trials soon, but first let's take a look at what Ascending can do
Todavía
for
no
your
nos van a
character.
explicar los trials, pero vamos a ver qué puede hacer
Each
las
class has
tendencias.
access to 3 Ascendancy classes.
Tres
But at the
ascendencias.
start of Early Access, only 2 per class will be
En el
available.
Access va a haber 2 ascendencias por cada
Ascendancy
clase.
classes are unique to each character class, so choose wisely. They can drastically affect how you build your character.
Ok. Sí sirven,
As a
Broccoli.
sorceress, you could become a Storm Weaver, a master of the elements.
Maestra de los
Tempest
elementos.
Caller causes elemental storms to be summoned each time you do a critical hit with a spell.
Es que haces un crítico, se
With Strike
resumonea
twice, you
el
can
skill.
stack 2 copies of Shock for more damage. And going deeper into the tree, you can make all your damage types apply Shock.
Todo
Make a shock build from
ok,
any
el
skill.
elementalista.
Alternatively, you could become a Chronomancer and command time itself. She literally has the ability to stop time with Time Freeze. Not only that, but she has many other time manipulation abilities. Using Temporal Rift, she can teleport back to a previous location, resetting her life and mana back to what it was. Or with Time Snap, she can reset all her cooldowns and cast all her spells again. On the Warrior,
Oh
you can
my
choose
God,
between the
dude.
Warbringer or the Titan.
Está muy rota, man.
The Warbringer channels the might of his ancestors to gain tremendous power.
Eso no parece como tan fuerte
Using
inicialmente,
Answered Call, you can
pero
summon
con
ancestral
items eso va a
spirits
ser muy
linked to each of
fuerte.
your totems.
Esta
With
es como la de
Jade
totems.
Heritage, you can encase your body in a protective layer that absorbs all damage until it breaks. Warcaller's Bellow allows you to explode the corpses of your enemies. And with Great Wolf's Howl, you can ignore the cooldowns of your war cries. Let all that anger out. The Titan class is all about hitting
Okay.
big.
Esta la de pegadura.
Earthbreaker, every slam is a chance to create an aftershock. With Crushing Impacts, every hit becomes a crushing blow, which will allow you to stun your enemies with ease. With Surprising Strength, you can take advantage of stunned enemies to deal 40% more
40%
damage.
more damage contra heavy stun enemies.
As a ranger, you might choose to be a Deadeye, an expert markswoman who can take down foes with style. With Endless Munitions, every attack ends an
Additional
extra
projectile.
projectile.
Ok.
With Gathering Winds, she gains a small increase to movement speed with every attack. But be careful, she loses them when getting hit.
Tiene buen solamente te da
With Eagle
velocidad de
Eyes, she will
movimiento.
never miss, allowing you to stop wasting all those passive points on accuracy.
Oh. No tiene penalidad de accuracy
you
en
could
long
become
range.
a Pathfinder,
Pathfinder?
the master of flasks and poison.
Ok, maestra de flask, vamos a
She
ver.
can choose from one of several
Sí.
throwable concoctions,
Let's see.
allowing her to spend her flask charges to throw explosive bottles that deal various types of damage.
Oh, es plus.
A bleeding concoction will make
Wait,
your enemies
las
bleed,
concoctions ahora son
while a
como un
fulminating
skill de
one
acá.
can shock your enemies, allowing you to do extra damage. Contagious Contamination allows her to spread poisons between her foes, while Overwhelming Toxicity doubles the number of stacks they can be infected by. Running Assault allows her to move much more
Muy
quickly
similar a la
while
Pathfinder de
firing,
acá,
while
pero
Relentless
con. O
Pursuit
sea,
makes her totally immune to being
la
slowed
idea
by
es similar,
enemies.
pero es distinta a la ascendencia.
The Witch can ascend into the Infernalist or the Blood Mage.
Ok,
As an
Infernalist y Bloodlust.
Infernalist, she can summon a loyal Hellhound companion. The Hellhound sets enemies on fire, as well as taking a percentage of the damage if the Infernalist gets hit.
Ok, este
With
aquí está cool.
Pyromantic Pact, you can turn your mana into Infernal Flame. As you cast more spells, the flame builds up, and if it overflows, you'll take damage. Using Bringer of Flame, you'll want to make sure you keep the flames topped up. While your Infernal Flame is above 30%, all damage from you and your minions will ignite enemies. She can also transform into a literal demon.
Oh.
While in demon form, she takes an increasing amount of damage, but her cast speed and damage increase rapidly as well. So if you're planning
Oh,
on
shit.
transforming into a demon, make sure you stack a lot of life recovery. She can
toma más
also
daño, pero
become
tiene
a
más que
blood
este speed.
mage, a master of life and
Dame,
energy.
dirás que ese arte se ve
All blood
brutal.
mages must pay the price of making skills cost life as well as mana, but in exchange, every monster they kill will drop life remnants, which allow them to quickly gain back that life. With Crimson Power, she can gain large amounts of extra life, and with Vitality Siphon, she can use her spells to leech life back as well.
10% de Spell Leech. Eso
Once
es
you've
una
got a
banda,
significant
man.
amount of life, you can use Gore Spike to make your critical hits deal incredible
Ok, este es
amounts
el
of
Life
damage.
Stacker.
A monk who is in tune with the elements might become an Invoker. With Elemental Expression, the Invoker will create waves of elemental power each time he does a critical strike. With Faith as a choice, you gain the ability to meditate, allowing you to double your energy shield. Choose between I am the Blizzard or I am the Thunder to specialize in cold or lightning.
Okay.
And I Shall Rage will allow you to turn into an unbound avatar.
Esto es parecido a
Each time
la
you apply
nueva de la
a status
Ranger.
ailment to
todas
an
esas
enemy,
uno.
you gain Unbound Fury. When you have enough, transform into an avatar to deal way more damage and inflict even more elemental ailments. Some monks
El
choose
monk
to
es
reach
fuerte.
into the darkness instead. The Acolyte of Chayula can exchange their mastery of spirit for darkness, a resource that can be utilized to both absorb and deal damage. The Shroud of Darkness will protect you from all damage incoming, but if you take Grasp of the Void, you will deal extra chaos damage from all the darkness you have. Their
Ok.
Dark Pact offers greatly increased resistances to chaos damage and can allow their mana leech to not only happen instantly, but apply to their energy shield as well. Another node you can take is Waking Dream, which allows you to see into the domain of the Breach Demons. There you will see the Flames of Chayula that can be taken to gain life, mana, and damage.
O sea, Chayula es pana.
The mercenary
Chapula.
has a job to do, but which job suits you? You might choose to become a witch hunter.
Witch Hunter.
Obsessive Rituals will give you a sorcery ward, allowing you to defend yourself against elemental hits in exchange for less defense against attacks. With Zealous Inquisition, your enemies have a 10% chance to explode on death.
10% de
The
chance de
chances double
explotar.
against demons and undead. With Judge, Jury, and Executioner, your initial hit against enemies can deal up to 30% of their life and damage, if you're lucky. This is
What
great for
the
hunting powerful
fuck?
bosses.
30% de la vida.
And with Witchbane, you can break your enemy's concentration, preventing them from casting spells as often as they would usually do. You could also choose to become a Gemling Legionnaire, enhancing your
God, no,
abilities
qué
by
roto
embedding
está
gems
eso.
directly in your
No,
flesh. Integrated Efficiency will give you extra
no,
skill
men, o
slots.
sea, ¿cuántas razones
Dermatological
me tienes que dar
Infusion
para que
gives you
juegue
extra
mercenario,
maximum
ah?
resistances as you sock up more and more support gems.
Rambo.
Adaptive capability allows you to use any color of gem without worrying about attributes, while
Wow.
Crystalline Potential adds extra quality bonuses to every gem socketed into your character.
Damn, dude, esto está bastante
So
fuerte.
those are the Ascendancy classes for the start of Early Access.
Somos el
But
tipo
one
de
thing we
cosas
haven't
rotas
talked about
para
yet is
Endgame.
how you ascend in the first place. Ascension and Path of
Okay,
Exile
los
2
trials?
requires completion of one of the Great Trials, which you'll find as you progress through the campaign. Each one is associated with one of the major cultures of Rayclast.
Cada trial es para la
Located in the Vasteri
asociada
plains
con
of
las culturas más
Amaraketh,
grandes de
a
Rayclast.
culture of rich tales and brutal traditions, who must do whatever it takes to survive in the desert.
Okay.
The highest position in Maraketh culture is a Sekima, and it is not a title given freely. All aspirants must complete the Trial of the Sekimas, a grueling gauntlet that will test their strength, will, cunning, and patience. To
Okay.
enter, a warrior of the Maraketh must prove
Valvala,
their
the
worth
traitor.
by trapping the soul of a djinn in a coin, and you are no different. Once you have earned your coin, it may be placed on the relic altar to begin the trial.
Eso se parece a algo que ya habíamos visto para esta luna. Test of
In the
Strength.
Trial of the Sekimas, each room has its own challenges to overcome. In this room, each rare monster you kill will send its blood to the chalice in the center of the room.
Ok, tienes que matar a monstruos
Once the
raros para que
chalice
se
is
llene
filled, you will
el,
be able to proceed.
el cáliz de sangre.
While fighting monsters in the trial, you will need to be very careful. Each hit will not only hurt you, but will damage your honor. The monsters are well telegraphed, so that you can avoid their attacks, but if you run out of honor, you will fail the trial and need to
Oh,
find
si
another
pierdes
coin
el
in
honor,
order to
o
try
sea, esto es como
again.
el Sanctum.
It is a good idea to make sure that you are well prepared before challenging the Trial of the Sekimas.
Es como el Sanctum, o sea, si pierdes el honor, pierdes
After
el...
each room, you will be
el
rewarded.
challenge.
In this case, you have been given a key that can be used to unlock chests later in the trial.
Men, qué brutal se ve, no
Once you have
supero
claimed
lo
your
bien que se ve.
reward, you will be shown a map of the rest of the floor and may choose how you wish to proceed.
Es como el Sanctum.
Which challenges would you like to face, and which rewards do you want to claim? Some rooms are more dangerous, afflicting you
Well,
with
¿saben lo que
debuffs
no
that
les
will
gusta del
persist for the
Sanctum?
entire trial.
Fuck 'em.
For
Tiene que hacer
example,
Sanctum sí o sí para
entering this
ascender.
room will afflict you with spiked shell that will cause all monsters in the rest of the trial to have 50% increased life.
Fuck 'em.
You will want to take care if you choose such a path. There are many different challenges and rewards as you journey through the trial. Deadly traps, waves of monsters, and strange artifacts will test your honor. As you progress, you'll be able to gain boons from the Jinn, which will help you
Es
on your
literalmente
journey.
Sanctum.
For example, the Sekima's cloak will revive you once if you die,
¿Te revive
giving you
una
a
vez?
second shot at a run. One of the rewards you may find is sacred water, an extremely valuable and treasured resource to the Jinn and the Maraketh. Trading it with the Jinn will allow you to receive many benefits.
Sacred
You can
Water
recover
es
honor,
el oro
gain
de
additional
esta
boons,
vaina.
or remove afflictions. At the end of the floor, you'll find a powerful boss which will truly test your limitations. In order to ascend, you will need to defeat him.
Okay.
Having defeated the boss, you've earned the right to ascend. But first, the loot. The keys you have found may be used to open the various treasures in the vault at the end of the
Cada
floor.
llave que consigues te
We
abre
only
una
have a
cosa.
single bronze key, so we'll just have to open one of these small chests.
Y es una
If you
sola
want to open the
cosa.
better ones, you'll need silver or gold keys. Let's use the Altar of Ascendancy. Your first ascension will allow you to pick your class and grant you 2 points to use in the tree. Now there are more floors and many more rewards that can be found within the
¿Quieres
trial of the
ascender? Bueno,
Seconds.
agarra
We'll
tu
save that
Sanctum
for the
ahí.
section on the endgame. For now, let's talk about the second
Hay
Ascendancy
más formas
trial,
de
the Trial
ascender,
of Chaos. In
pero eso
Path of
queda para el
Exile 2,
endgame.
you can choose whichever trial you like to earn your ascension. Each culture on REY class had their own methods to ascend. If the Trial of the Sekimas is not your kind of playstyle, or you're finding it too difficult, you could try another.
Oh,
you
tú
can
puedes
gain all
elegir la
your
que tú
ascension
quieras
points
para
with just
ascender.
one, or mix and match them. It's up to you.
Ah, o sea que si no
For
quieres
early
hacer el
access,
Sanctum,
we'll
puedes
have
hacer
2
otra
trials
cosa.
as options, with a third trial coming later for the full release.
Oh.
While exploring the Vaal jungle, you'll discover the Temple of Chaos. Before the Vaal embraced the science of corruption, their
Interesante.
civilization worshipped
Ah.
chaos. This ancient trial was once used
Este
by the
ultimatum.
Vaal to test their high priests. A high priest of the Vaal must show willingness to risk everything to gain power.
There it is.
Entry to the trial requires a token from a strange entity known only as the Trial Master. For those in which he sees potential, he shall inscribe an ultimatum. Many have attempted these trials in search of greatness. Most have perished. Will you be able to defy the odds? Before you begin each chamber, the Trial Master will offer you a reward and a choice. Choose one of 3 tribulations to affect you through the rest of the trial.
El
These
siguiente,
modifiers
claro.
might beef up the monsters,
Este es
curse
más
the player,
simple.
or add
Este
environmental
simplemente
hazards like
elige
turrets or
uno de los
trap
3,
rooms.
avanza y son 10
In
rondas
this
por lo
case,
visto.
we'll be picking shocking turrets.
Todo por uno era una beta. Fueron 10 años de beta y
As
no
you
lo
enter the
sabíamos.
room, the Trial Master will fill it with hazards to test your commitment. In this case, you must destroy all the monsters that fill the room, while dealing with the lightning projectiles from the
Men,
shocking
qué brutal
turrets.
se ve eso. Qué brutal se ve eso, boludo. Era pues 2.0.1. Exacto, no es 100% ultimátum, el otro sí es como 100% Sanctum.
After each room, you will
O
need to make
casi.
a choice.
85%
Take the rewards you've
Sanctum.
earned so far,
Este es como
or go double or nothing.
30
Increase
o
your rewards,
40%.
but take on more risk. Each tribulation you add is minor on its own, but they quickly stack on top of each other and can become overwhelming. There are many
¿Y
types of
cuándo te
chambers
dan
in
la
the
cosa?
trial. Each will test your resolve in different ways. This one simply requires you survive for a certain amount of time. Another requires you to escort the stone idol through the level as elevators full of monsters descend to attack you. Should you be able to get through the first 3 chambers, you will face your first boss.
3.
The order of the bosses is random.
Si aguantas
and combined
3,
with the
te
tribulations
dan
you
un
have
boss.
selected, the fight will never feel the same.
Depende de las cosas que elijas, los bosses
After
van a ser
defeating the
iguales.
boss, you may claim your rewards. Of course, there are the items, but you also gain the right to ascend.
Ok, 3
If you
rondas.
already did the Trial of the
asciendes.
Sekimas, then you can claim 2 more points to add to your Ascendancy class. Now, it's
Okay.
possible to go much deeper. There are more bosses, rewards, and risks to take, but we'll talk more about that when we get to Endgame.
Ok, en el endgame puedes
So
ir
how about we
yendo
talk
más
about that
profundo.
now? So far, we've only been showing you footage from the campaign, But some people would argue that the endgame is where the game truly begins. Something that happens almost every time a new action RPG launches is people saying, there isn't enough endgame content. Well, we want to make sure that in POE 2, people don't feel that way.
Okay.
And we actually only changed our development priority for this recently.
Here we go.
The first 3 acts of POE 2 already take around 25 hours to complete if you're a new player. This is already a pretty significant campaign. On the other hand, people spend hundreds of hours in endgame each league. We realized that finishing the rest of the campaign for early access was actually a bad idea. Instead of having acts 4 to 6 in early access, we could concentrate on endgame and make that great. For new players, a 25-hour campaign is already a huge game with lots of content. But for existing action RPG players, what you mostly care about is all the endgame challenges to overcome. So several months ago, we switched the entire development team's focus over to making endgame content. At the start of early access, there will be 50 bosses and around 400 monster types. But the great thing is that the rest of the game is like 80% there. We'll be adding content to roughly double the size of the game during early access and into release. Now, in order to make the endgame happen at the same character level as what it would be after we added the rest of the acts, we've added a second difficulty level called Cruel, where you repeat the campaign with all the monsters and bosses leveled up. And of course, new rewards.
O sea,
you can kind of think of it as like a new game
después el 1 a 3 de nuevo, y
it's also a lot faster to get through the content the second time as your clear speed increases. That will take you to around level 65
vamos a tener 4,
before the
5 y 6
begins.
cuando salga el resto.
Once we add the remaining 3 acts, we'll be removing Cruel difficulty, so you'll progress straight from the end of Act 6 to endgame. But what is the endgame?
Alright.
To explain that, I'll hand over to Mark. He can tell you all about it.
Ooh.
Hi, I'm Mark Roberts, Game Director on Path of Exile 2. Well, one thing that Path of Exile is known for is having a lot of distinct endgame content to choose between. Each endgame mechanic needs to have its own progression system, areas, bosses, rewards, and player power that can only be gained from that content. We are going to be adding a lot more over time, but for Path of Exile 2 we decided to start with 7 distinct systems you can progress through. This is the Atlas, and it serves as the core of the endgame for Path of Exile 2.
Este es el Atlas.
It's infinite and expands in all directions.
Infinito
now, we are not going to spoil the
la...
plot too much here, but corruption from the beast has blighted the land, and your objective is to help fight it. In the center of the Atlas, you will find the Ziggurat, a temple in which the Val research the fundamentals of space and time. Here, we can open portals to nearby locations and begin cleansing corruption and finding resources. In order to power the portal device, we will need waystones. Each waystone has a tier which will determine the level of the monsters that you will face.
Que la waystone es como el
to
mapa.
go to an area, simply click one that is adjacent to an area that you have already completed. Insert the waystone and click Traverse. Portals will open, allowing you and your party to travel to the area you have selected. All the areas in the endgame feel distinct from the locations in the campaign, and we have dialed the randomization up to 11. The monster packs you will face in each map are totally random, and the combination of them can lead to some very interesting combat situations. There are over 400 monster types in early access, and they have a lot of varied and interesting abilities. Depending on which combinations you face, you might find some serious challenges. In order to cleanse the corruption from the area, you will need to defeat all the powerful rare and unique enemies in it. Once you have done that, the area will be marked as completed and you will be able to travel past it to progress deeper into the world. If you die, then the map can no longer be run, and you will have to find another way around to get to the areas behind it.
Si pierdes no puedes volver a hacer el mapa.
There are also all kinds of other random encounters you might run into as you play maps. One such encounter are precursor artifacts. These are ancient, corrupting monuments that irradiate the monsters around them. The monsters that feed off the corruption are drawn to their power. If you defeat the monsters and cleanse the artifacts, you will get a powerful temporary buff. Some of the buffs make you faster, others rain lightning or fire around you, and some even give you increased experience or help you find better items. You can also find strong boxes. These enigmatic chests guard piles of treasure, but are always a trap. Monsters lie in wait to attack you the moment you open it, and the boxes often have mechanisms to unleash powerful spells or dangerous debuffs. There are different types of strong boxes containing different items, and you can even use your currency items to craft them on the fly, so you can optimize the contents. But be careful of opening one you can't handle.
Oh shit. Bueno, las strong boxes se ven...
Sometimes you'll discover monsters frozen in essences, solidified crystalline corruption. These dangerous monsters can be broken free. If you defeat them, the essence they drop can be used to upgrade normal items to magic items with a guaranteed mod from a category. For example, we could use this one on some boots to ensure a movement speed mod.
35%.
Rarely, essences will also drop that allow you to upgrade magics to rares, adding the guaranteed mod.
Men, el mago se ve demasiado sádico.
This is incredibly powerful since it allows you to get a second deterministic mod in your crafting projects. Combining these with the currencies that are commonly found in REY class for modifying items, and we can get a very nice pair of boots indeed. Waystones, like all items, can also be crafted using your currency items.
Sí, POE es más lento, 35% de velocidad de movimiento.
Adding prefix mods will improve the rewards, while suffix mods increase danger. The more dangerous a map is, the more waystones will drop. Adding mods to your waystones is key to progressing to higher tiers and sustaining them, but it will require you to take on larger challenges. There are a variety of factors you'll have to consider when crafting your waystones. Some maps will have higher density, some lower, some have more magic and rare chests, or monsters, some are more linear, and others more open. Make sure you explore and think about what makes certain maps good if you want to maximize your returns.
Cada mapa es distinto y tenemos que
As you cleanse
entender
corruption
cuáles son
from
los mejores
higher
tipos
and
de
higher
mapa.
tiers of the Atlas, you will gain points that you can spend in the Atlas tree.
Atlas
This tree
Here
allows
we
you to
go.
juice the danger and rewards of all areas in the endgame. You could increase the number of monsters, the number of rares, the number of precursor artifacts or strongboxes, even the quantity of item drops.
Jesus.
As you explore the endgame world map, you'll notice various different biomes. From
Bro, lo
snow-capped
grande
mountains to
que
dense
es. Eso
jungle
fue lo que dijo
valleys.
ella.
Most maps are restricted to certain biomes.
Jesus.
As you continue to explore deeper into the Atlas, there are all sorts of things to discover. These cities are constructed by different peoples of REY class and have specific items that can be found
Ciudades?
there. These strange structures marked on the map don't appear to do anything for now. Perhaps you'll work out how to use them later. You might find unique maps like Untainted Paradise, an undisturbed island full of beasts that give an extreme amount of experience. You may even find a lonely man just enjoying his retirement who will give you a unique item for free. In addition, you can find special areas that would make a good spot to set up camp. Clear these areas of their hostile inhabitants, and you'll be able to claim them as your own hideout. You can decorate your hideout as you see fit and invite various NPCs to join you there to create your own personal base of operations.
Ok, tus hideouts, así como desbloqueas los hideouts también.
A great tool for exploration are towers. These mysterious precursor constructs are
Mira lo
dotted
brutal
around
que
the
se ve.
Atlas. Completing the tower will reveal a large area around it, allowing you to scout out your next challenge. There are lots of things to find, so keep looking.
Jeez.
Some sections of your atlas are influenced
Como
by
Delph mezclado con la
corruption. This
Seaport
adds extra
con
modifiers to the maps in the region,
el
increasing
Atlas.
difficulty and rewards. Here,
What
slaying
the
monsters
fuck?
in close proximity to each other will cause the vestiges of corruption within them to
Ahí
merge
tenemos.
together, forming powerful and grotesque abominations. You may have noticed while looking at the atlas that some of the areas have these icons above them. The
Ajá, los
icon
iconos.
indicates that the area contains some kind of special encounter. This icon indicates that the area has a powerful boss. Because only 1 in 4 maps contain a map boss, we are able to make them very powerful
Uno
and
en
very
4
rewarding.
mapas
These
tiene un
bosses
boss.
come from the campaign, but have had their difficulty increased with changes to AI and some of their abilities. It's worth noting that because you can see where the bosses are, you can choose to take them on or avoid them. If you do choose to hunt bosses though, then you will be rewarded with special points for the boss hunting section of the Atlas skill tree. The points here will allow you to specialize in
primer
boss
boss.
killing, giving you much greater rewards for defeating them. For each different type of content in the endgame, we are adding specialized trees in order to make
el
it so
boss
you
estaba
don't
como
feel
que,
the need to respec your
y
points
explotó
when you
toda la
change
pantalla.
between different types of content.
¿Qué
We
es
will be
eso?
showing you 7 of these by the end of this presentation, so there is still a lot more to come.
Retiro lo que
Bosses are
dije
not
del
the only
guerrero.
icon you will see on the Atlas. Let's take a look at one of the endgame systems.
Y no fue como que
Breach.
Estudió ya le bajó la vida
If you
como si
played
fuese
POE
nada,
1, you
man.
might be familiar with Breach. For POE 2, we have created sequels to several POE 1 leagues. While the mechanic is familiar,
nada.
The monsters, bosses, rewards, and progression are all new. A breach is a tear in the fabric of reality. Opening it will allow you to see the demons and otherworldly monstrosities that lie in wait on this other plane of existence. By engaging with a breach, you create a bridge between their world and REY class.
Storm Call.
In order to keep the breach open, you will need to kill the demons that pour forth. The faster you can kill the monsters, the more monsters you will fight, and the more loot you will find. You can also find clasped hands that will open and drop more items if you run over them. These can be a good boost to the rewards of the breach, so keep an eye out.
Okay.
One of the rewards
Similar
that
a
you may
esto, solamente
find
que la
while
breach
fighting
es como que
monsters
mientras
from
más
breach
matas,
are
más dura.
tablets. Tablets are special items that can be
Tabletas?
used with precursor towers to add more encounters to the Atlas. Breaches will drop breach tablets. Clicking on a completed tower will allow you to consume the tablet to add more breaches to areas within range of the tower. This makes all the content in the Atlas self-sustaining. Want to do more breaches? Find the tablets, add them to your towers, get more breaches, getting more tablets. Soon your Atlas will be covered in otherworldly domains.
Okay.
In addition, like
Entonces las
all
tabletas
items
son
in
para
POE,
meterlas en las
you can
torres para
craft them.
bufear lo
Use
que
your
está cerca.
currency to add mods to your tablets, allowing you to upgrade all the breaches in range. Tablets can have up to 2 mods. These mods do things like adding extra rare monsters, extra clasped hands,
my
or
God.
even mods to density of breaches, allowing you to keep them
Es
open
como un
longer.
sextant, exacto, es como un
Often you will
sextant.
find multiple towers near to each other with overlapping areas
Pero
of
puedes
effect.
bufear
This
varias
can
veces
allow
lo
you to
mismo, ¿no?
barely
Sí, lo
juice the
puedes meter varias
mechanic by
veces.
stacking the mods from multiple tablets. In your fight to hold the breach demons at bay, you may want to use the powers of their world against them. Each endgame mechanic
Este juego va a
always
ser
has
gratis.
player power that can only be gained from
Recuerden
that
eso, este juego va a ser
mechanic,
gratis.
and breach is no different. In breach, you will find
This is a free
catalysts,
game.
items
Y
that can
este es el
increase the
early
quality
access.
of rings and amulets by improving specific mods. You can also find breach rings, a special base type that can have its quality improved by catalysts up to 50%. In this case, you could create a ring with around 170 life. Breach rings can become some of the strongest rings in the game, giving you some good motivation to
los
face
breach
the demon
rings ahora sí
hordes.
son buenos.
In addition, each endgame mechanic needs to have a pinnacle endgame encounter.
Cada
While killing
mecánica
breach monsters,
endgame
you
tiene un
may
boss.
find breach splinters. Collect enough of these and you'll be able to create a breach stone.
Breach stone,
Using a
okay.
vile technology called the Realm Gate, you can use your breach stone to access their domain and bring the fight to them.
Okay.
In this twisted domain, you will find nothing but a single massive breach. Triggering it will reveal hordes of breach inhabitants.
Es como una breach stone de Pados Exile, ¿no pareciera? Pero el boss va a ser nuevo. Y los enemigos también, por lo que veo. Oh, dude,
And
cada
should
vez
you
que
be
veo
fast
eso,
enough,
se me
you will
para un
be able
poquito
to
más,
fight
¿eh?
their leader, Zesht. We that are one.
Shesh. We who are one. Damn. A la verga.
This is just one of the pinnacle encounters of POE 2. We won't be showing the rest of them, so you will have to discover them for
No
yourself.
voy a mostrar los
But
siguientes
rest assured,
pináculos.
this is some of the hardest content we have ever made. All
Este es de
these
los contenidos más
encounters
difíciles
have
que hemos
specific
hecho.
uniques that can only be found from them, but that's not all. We
Único
still
que solo
have
salen de
the
ellos.
progression system.
Tenemos el sistema de
Defeating
progresión.
Zesht will give you points to allocate into the breach section of the Atlas tree.
Si la derrotas,
Allocating
puedes
these
progresar.
points will make breaches and the breach domain even harder, but will give you more rewards. The small nodes will increase the difficulty of the twisted domain, while the large nodes have more specific bonuses. For example, this node adds more clasped hands to your breaches, and adds a pack of magic monsters that can guard them. Get some more points and you can allocate Waking Nightmare, which will double the number of splinters you get from clasped hands, and inflict you with a
Para farmear más
mysterious
a
debuff.
Zesht.
In order to earn more points, you will need to defeat Zesht at a higher difficulty, and some rewards from Zesht can only be found by increasing the difficulty of the Twisted Domain
En la de-
above certain thresholds.
Tienes
Defeating
que
Zesht at
matarlo en
difficulty 4
dificultades
will be a
altas para que te dé lo que
challenge
quieras.
indeed, but there are many more threats in REY class.
Uy, manotón en la cara, men.
Ritual altars are
Y tren de los
sacrificial
manoteó,
sites
man.
built by the mysterious king in the mists. If you encounter this symbol on the Atlas, then you know that the
Sale el
area
DPS, sí.
contains ritual altars. Ritual altars demand tribute. Every monster you slaughter in the circle will feed the altar. After the sacrifice, touch it to begin the ritual. The monsters you just killed will be resurrected by the King of the Mist's dark magic.
Esas olas
and
de
you must
sangre me
fight to
son
survive.
conocidas.
The tribute you have offered to the altar can be spent to buy powerful items, but they can be expensive. To gain more tribute, you will want to find more altars.
Okay.
Each successive
4
ritual you do
altares
within an
quedaban,
area
o sea, son
will
5
spawn the
altares.
monsters revived by the previous ones, in addition to the ones you sacrifice next to it. By the end of an area, you will be fighting a truly imposing number of foes, but will have a significant amount of tribute to spend. One of the rewards you can buy with tribute
Men,
are omens.
¿se acuerdan
These
lo
are
de la que
special
voy a entrar
items
una
that
PC
allow for
fuerte?
meta-crafting. Crafting items that affect other crafting items. Have an item with good prefixes but bad suffixes? This omen will help you to remove the mod you don't want while keeping the ones you do. There are a bunch more of these with different effects, but we will leave them for you to discover. Now don't forget that Ritual will also drop tablets, which can be used to specialize into getting more rituals. If you want to get to the pinnacle boss of Ritual, then you will probably want to use them. They can also
No
be
creo que el
crafted to
boss
grant
pináculo
mods,
de Ritual
making your
sea King of the
rituals
Mist.
more
Yo creo que es
rewarding.
otro.
The pinnacle encounter of Ritual is the King in the Mist.
Never mind.
Feared by the Asmeri people, he is said to have brought eternal darkness to the Wildwood.
Never mind.
We won't show the encounter, but just like Breach, there are a range of unique items you can get for defeating him, and you will gain points in the
O sea,
ritual
ya lo
section of the
vimos, ese no
Atlas
es
tree.
nuevo. Dude,
Some
scam.
maps have been touched by insanity. A mysterious entity has taken a special interest in you. Step through the looking glass and you will find your nightmares coming to life.
Tal vez es
When you
distinto.
touch a mirror, the mists of delirium will spread out across the area, infecting your mind.
El delirium
You must
es
stay within the
exactamente
mist
igual.
to maintain the nightmare,
That's
which
okay.
is as profitable as it is terrifying. Everything you kill will increase the rewards that drop. However, the deeper into the mist you travel, the stronger the monsters are. Be careful not to overstay your welcome. Rare and unique enemies will become vessels for terrifying demons, who will manifest out of them to unleash powerful attacks on you. The mist also offers a strange crafting material, distilled emotions. By combining these emotions, you are able to instill your amulet with a notable from the passive skill tree. This is
son
like
los
gaining
oils.
an extra passive point for free, attached to your gear. They are
Oils.
also particularly great because you don't have to traverse the tree to get them, allowing you to get off-class bonuses that would normally be much harder to get.
Como ese que
Distilled
nadie quiere.
emotions can also be used to instill your endgame maps, applying Delirious to them and adding additional difficulty and rewards, allowing you to further juice your endgame maps. The tablets you can find from Delirium can be used to further improve it, increase pack size, make the fog dissipate slower, or improve your progress towards the pinnacle encounter of Delirium.
Bro, el
Speaking of
martillazo.
which, every now and then you will
Revienta.
find simulacrum splinters. The mysterious entity will create strange encounters based on warped versions of your own memories. Monsters and simulacrums come in waves that get progressively more difficult. You will receive loot at the end of each wave, and you will have to make the decision to leave now or continue on, facing up against even tougher foes from the mist. The bosses you will face as you get deeper into a simulacrum are truly terrifying. If you can complete a
Omnifobia, creo que te he
simulacrum,
matado
you
como
will
un millón de
gain
veces.
points for the Delirium section of the Atlas skill tree. Next up, we have Expedition.
Ok, Expedition.
Occasionally, while clearing corruption, you will encounter these
Creo que Nico está
Kalguran
todavía, o eso fue lo que dijeron la
the
última vez.
Kalgurans have discovered ancient burial sites with lost Verisium artifacts, and they want you to help dig them up with explosives. The Kalgurans have marked the locations where the relics can be found. Place explosives as best you can to dig up as many as possible. There is just one problem. Corruption has brought the corpses of their ancestors to life, so you might have to do a little cleanup before you can reclaim the artifacts. You can also find remnants, the destruction of which will further anger the restless dead. Each one you
Okay.
blow up will make the subsequent
Blade creo que
monsters
dijeron
more
que iba a estar,
powerful,
pero
but
no sabemos
also more
todavía.
rewarding.
Vamos a ver qué más hay.
Danig, Rog, Tujin, and Gwenin will exchange the artifacts for useful items and runic magic.
Es igual que
You can
para
also
Hexagon.
find tablets to increase the number of expeditions and the rewards. This one increases the radius of explosives.
Igual por lo que
while
veo
this one
de
increases
los
the
jugadores que
number
juegan
of
solo
remnants you will
Self-Found,
find.
Expedition es como que muy OP.
Eventually,
No sé si será muy
you
OP
might
para los
discover a
Exile 2.
logbook. These are special maps full of buried treasure and relics. Essentially, one giant dig site.
One
Here, you can
giant
create an
site, okay.
extremely long chain of explosives and go through a very high number of remnants. But be careful, many remnants have mods that can really brick your build, so you will probably want to avoid these ones. If you add too many remnants, you could easily make the encounter harder than you can handle. There are all sorts of interesting things buried under the ground in logbooks. You might find dripping caves and hidden pirate caches, but the most powerful encounter is Olroth, the ancient undead commander of the Knights of the Sun.
Damn,
Defeating
dude,
him will
Olroth
grant you
como se ve.
unique rewards, as well as points to spend in the expedition section of the Atlas tree. So those are the in-game systems on the Atlas, but we are not done yet. The trials we talked about earlier have much more content when you get to Endgame 2. Just like the other Endgame systems, they also have progression mechanics, unique rewards, and player power that can only be gained from them. As you get higher level coins for the Trial of the Sycamores, you will unlock more floors to explore. Each floor has its own challenging rooms and a floor boss that you will need to kill.
Ok. Bro, mira el daño como sube con los minions, man.
Leading to another pinnacle boss at the end of the last floor, which can only be accessed at endgame. The Trial of the Sycamores is where you'll find jewels, which you can socket into your tree.
Ahí están las jewels, lo que estaban
passives that
diciendo.
you can craft with your currency items. They can be really powerful as they allow you to stack modifiers that may not be easily accessible on the tree normally.
Ahí tienen las
This
jewels.
jewel gives lightning damage and shock chance, for example. There are quite a few jewel sockets on the tree, so it's possible to gain a lot of power here. There are also other types of jewels that don't provide any bonuses themselves, but affect other passives surrounding them. This jewel increases the effect of small nodes and radius by 25%. With careful placement in the tree, you could get a significant amount of power from it. There are also unique jewels available with very interesting effects, but you will have to find those for yourself. In order to push further into the trial and uncover the secrets of the Maraketh, you will want to take advantage of its progression system, relics. Relics are items that can be placed in the relic altar as you start the trial. They give special bonuses that affect the trial, making it easier and increasing its rewards. Of course, you can craft these with your currency items, making them even stronger. If you can complete the entire trial overcoming all 4 floors, the final boss will reward you with one of many unique relics. These relics will be consumed when used on your next run, but can reward you with unique and powerful items. For example, this is the Last Flame. If you use it, you will have only 1 honor for the entire trial, so you will need to do a completely hitless run.
¿Y qué te dan?
The Trial of Chaos also extends into the endgame. As you gain inscribed ultimatums of higher and higher levels, the number of chambers that you can go through increases.
No llegué a leer.
In true Val style, this allows you to take even more risks for even more rewards. At endgame, you can progress through up to 10 chambers with 3 bosses on a single run. Stacking 10 tribulations on top of each other will make this a significant challenge, but it's worth it. The Trial Master will tempt you with items of the Val Empire, such as Val Orbs. Val Orbs are powerful crafting items that corrupt your gear with random mysterious outcomes. Corruption prevents an item from being modified further, so it has to be the last step of your craft. But it's also the most impactful one. For example, if you use one on your body armor, it might add a new powerful enchantment, or it might re-roll up to half of its modifiers. Val Orbs also have the ability to add a socket, allowing you to bypass the normal restriction of how many sockets an item can have. A body armor could get up to 3 sockets this way, allowing for a significant number of mods. Val Orbs can even modify uniques. Adding enchantments or sockets to uniques can make them incredibly powerful, but there is a good chance that you will break them as well. The Trial Master will also occasionally offer you soul cores. Originally formed by Chaos, the Val sought to replicate soul cores through human sacrifice rituals and blood magic to power their civilization. Soul cores are powerful socketable items, with mods that cannot be obtained from regular runes. Like all endgame content, there is of course a pinnacle boss. The final chamber will drop keys to this mysterious door. Some say this is where the Trial Master himself resides. Perhaps you are willing to take the risk to find out. Had enough yet? Because there is still just one more thing. The most difficult content in Path of Exile 2.
Pinnacle bosses,
While
let's
mapping,
fucking go.
you might come across this fortress that has emerged from underground, surrounded by an enormous maze riddled with danger. Is the maze preventing something from getting in, or something getting out? This fortress is of ancient origin, and its construction has similarities to the towers and tablets that you have been using on your journey through the endgame. It is clear from the entrance that there are 3 keys required to enter. Local factions are vying for access to the fortress in order to seize the power they believe will be inside. Each of the faction's leaders have managed to get their hands on one of the keys, so you will need to defeat them. Each faction is led by an
conseguir cada una de las facciones para conseguir las llaves para poder entrar ahí.
The city, but in order to fight him, you will first need to defeat their 2 lieutenants in the adjacent zones. Be careful. If you fail against either of the lieutenants, or to kill the leader, they will move on, and you will need to find them again. Kill all the Uber bosses and you will gain access to the fortress. We aren't going to spoil it as we can't wait to see you guys attempt it for the first time.
No quiero decir que
you get points in after killing it? Of course there is. This is Path of Exile. There is always another tree.
So these are your challenges for POE 2. As you can see, this project is crazy huge. Way bigger than even we expected when we started out.
Oh my god.
How do you gain access? Well, during early access you'll need a key to get in. To thank our existing POE supporters who have spent more than $480, we'll be giving you guys a key for the PC version for free. Anyone else who wants one can get one by purchasing one of the new early access supporter packs that have just been released to the store. If you just want early access to POE 2, then you can get a key in the $30 early access pack. The pack also comes with $30 of points to spend in the MTX store.
Oye, $30 es
we
más
also
barato.
have a
No,
variety
15,
of other
mintieron.
supporter packs filled with exclusive microtransactions, points to spend in the store, and
Okay,
even
eso se ve
physical
cool
items.
también.
The cosmetics can be used right now in POE 1 and in Path of Exile 2 when early access starts.
Y por supuesto, ese es
Most
el
of
más
this
chingón.
footage has been recorded in Path of Exile 1,
Oh, trajeron el
since
pollo.
that's where you can use them immediately. The Lord of Ogham supporter pack contains a cosmetic armor set befitting of the Count of Ogham
Y
himself.
esto lo pueden usar también en Path of Exile 1 y
There is
Path of
also a
Exile
matching
2.
back attachment,
El
which has
kiwi
an
sí volvió
alternate
el pollito.
variant depicting the influence of corruption. Also in this pack, you can find a portal formed of the rusted armor of the fallen soldiers in the Red Vale of Ogham,
Ese es por
and
donde se
the
ve cool.
offspring of a vicious crowbell boss found in the hunting grounds. This one doesn't look so vicious though. On top of that, you'll receive the Iron Count's Y-hander to apply to your one-handed or two-handed swords. For those who are wanting to decorate your hideouts with fond memories and tales of Path of Exile's history, you will also get a series of hideout statues. This pack contains the statue of Hillock. For Path of Exile 1's closed beta, each pack contained a true New Zealand icon, the Kiwi.
Okay.
Following this tradition, all packs in this series will also contain a new themed Kiwi pet. The pet will loyally follow you into battle, but run away at the first sign of trouble.
Pero va a salir corriendo cuando haya
Become
peligro.
the ruler of the desert with the King of the Faradin supporter pack. Show your mastery of traversing the sands of the Vasteri Plains. The body armor will allow you to glide along the ground with ancient sand magic. Now each armor set comes with body armor, boots, gloves, and helmet, but the boots are covered in sand. If you'd prefer to show them off, you can turn the gliding off if you want. The accompanying back attachment equips you with 2 powerful pillars
Esa me
that
la
can
sabe
control
cool.
and
Si
manipulate
esto es POE 1.
They will
Dijeron que todo
periodically
ya está
release their
funcionando
energy
en POE 1, así que lo van a poder usar en
powerful
POE 1 o en
blast
POE 2.
and hover in a circle around you, arcing lightning between them, forming a barrier of energy. Replace the appearance of any bow with the Faradin's glory skin. Or replace the appearance of a spear with the Tyranny's end spear skin. This spear skin can be applied to staves and war staves in Path of Exile 1. If you want to truly show your worth as a King of the Faradin, then you definitely need your trusty, moving, entire city fortress known as the Dreadnought to travel across the Vasteri Plains.
Okay, este es el hideout.
In Path of Exile,
Makes
you can
sense.
decorate your hideout however you like, and it's no exception here. It comes with a variety of thematic elements to use, or use decorations from elsewhere in the game.
Okay.
Additionally, you will get the Deshret's Blessing level up effect. The King of the Faradin Kiwi pet. And last but not least, a statue depicting the Vile Oversoul from Path of Exile 1. For those who don't know how supporter packs work, each pack comes with all of the cosmetics from the previous tier, so you'll get all the items from the Lord of Ogham supporter pack as well. The Thaumaturge of the Vile supporter pack features an armor set and back attachment themed around the Vile and their pursuit of science and progress. You can find the Soul Core weapon effect in this pack, which causes thaumaturgic energy harnessed from sacrifice to spill from your weapon. This pack also contains Doyani's Idol. It replaces the default appearance of any foci to an ancient relic once used by Doyani, and this can be applied to shields in Path of Exile 1. That's not the only Vile weapon you'll find. It also contains the Wand of the Thaumaturge skin. and the
Sí, pero
Royal
está
Sacrifice
bonito.
Dagger skin. You wouldn't think to put sacrificial gems on a Kiwi, but the Val did. Thaumaturge of the Val supporters will receive the Thaumaturge of the Val Kiwi pet. And the
Ok.
Statue of Dominus. This is also the first pack in the series with a physical item. When purchasing this pack, you'll receive a Path of Exile 2 logo t-shirt. But if you don't want one, you can opt out in return for additional points to spend in the store. Becoming a Warlord of the Karui supporter will grant you an armor set and back attachment, adorned in jade carvings and iridescent feathers resembling power. Enough to even impress the ancestral gods, specifically Tukohama, the Karui god of war. Overkill, you say? I think the Karui people would disagree. Why not drop a gigantic totem on rare enemies you slay to crush them to a pulp? Replace your crafting bench in your hideout with an ancestral canoe crafting bench, where Ancestral Chief Mata will summon a giant canoe manned by Karui warriors to aid in your crafting desires.
We must all start somewhere.
Okay.
You'll also get a pair of weapon skins. Equip Akoya's Felling Axe skin to your one-hand or two-handed axes,
en realidad
or
bastante lindo.
Tukohama's Crusher to your one-handed or two-handed
I don't know.
maces.
Bueno, eso parece como que le sacó la pata a una
True
silla.
Karui Warlord is
Sin
always
ofender.
accompanied by their trusty Kiwi. Equipped with armor and harnessing ancestral magic, they make the
Deja las
perfect
patitas,
sidekick.
boludo. Mira, deja las patitas.
Once one of the most feared beings in Ray class, Malachi was slain
ok, la
by a
foto se ve
powerful
brutal.
exile. May the statue commemorate
Oh, no,
the virtue of
pensaría que
exile's
una
past,
cosa de las
present,
idols
and
sería
of the
cool, pero...
future. Of course, it's not all about dressing up in game. You'll want to look good in real life too. By becoming a Warlord of the Karui supporter, you'll also get a Path of Exile 2 hoodie. Our final tier of supporter pack
here
in
we
this
go.
series is the Liberator of Ray class supporter pack. The Liberator of Ray
Sin
class
y-
armor
e
set and
Innocence,
back
o
attachment
las
come
hermanas.
made with the finest materials in Ray class, and shattered glass mosaics suspended in divine power. Set up your base of operations in the Beacon of Salvation hideout. Why restrict yourself to just one island when you can liberate more? The Beacon of Salvation hideout comes equipped with your own collection of small islands and personal operators of boats that you can use to row between them. Just walk to the piers, click a boat to enter, and navigate as you choose.
Era un bote,
Decorate
toma,
each
tienes que
island as you
pagarlo.
see fit to best represent
Es
your
un
well-owned
hideout, esto es un
hideout.
hideout.
Everyone in your hideout can use their own boat. Why not have some races? You can also get the Window to Twilight portal effect, a beautiful mosaic piece of art that shatters and reveals a gateway to your desired destination as you approach it. As you walk away, the glass magically reforms back to its original form.
Okay.
Rule in style with the Throne of the Ruler map device. Sure, this map device can create portals to in-game maps, but it also comes with a throne you can sit on to oversee your growing kingdom. Look down on the plebeians running your maps. Being the Liberator, though, is not just about sitting on your throne all day. If you do decide to join the fight yourself, you can leave a High Priest in charge as your second in command. Liberator of Ray class supporters will also get a set of varied weapon skins. The Light of Divinity Scepter skin, the Deliverance crossbow skin, the Justice flail skin, and the Redemption shield skin. Once again, you'll have an accompanying Kiwi, and of course a statue depicting one of the most iconic events in Rayclast's history, the battle between a powerful exile and Kitava, the Insatiable. With the help of two deities, Sin and Innocence, the exile was able to defeat him once and for all. This supporter pack also contains the Path of Exile 2 art book.
Oh,
This
tal vez solamente por esto lo vale.
215-page full-color art book includes a huge amount of amazing concept art and lore produced during the long and exciting journey of Path of Exile 2's development. And finally, Path of Exile has a tradition of letting the community participate in designing game features. For Path of Exile 2, we'll be adding the Twilight Order Foil Reliquary. By becoming a Liberator of Ray class supporter,
Si compras de
once Path of
480,
Exile 2 is released, you'll be able to select any unique item you have found and be able to drop it from the Reliquary. Once players have submitted their items, keys to the Reliquary will start dropping, and other players will be able to find foil versions of uniques that you have submitted along with a message for the lucky player.
Tú agarras un único, lo pones ahí, le
the
pones un
more
mensaje y
chances
alguien lo
there will
puede
be for the
conseguir.
Reliquary to drop them, so choose wisely. Now, almost all of these items are available to use in POE 1 right now.
O sea, básicamente
There
es
are a
como
few
la,
exceptions where the
la
item
cajita
class
de
clearly doesn't
Exile
exist,
1.
such as crossbows or flails. And there are also a few microtransactions on weapon types that are unavailable in POE 2 at the start of early access. Once classes that use those weapon types are added, those microtransactions will be available to use. If you can't decide which supporter pack to choose yet, you can always start with the Early Access supporter pack that just includes a key and some points to spend in the store. Then you can upgrade to any of the following tiers at a later date. These supporter packs will be available for purchase throughout Early
Igual que los otros
Access.
super pack, compras uno
We'd really
y el
like to
siguiente
thank you
pagas
for
la
your
diferencia en
ongoing
lugar de pagarlo todo.
support. Without you guys, Path of Exile 2 could not have happened. Now,
En el
I'm sure you
Exile
guys have a
están
lot of
15 dólares.
questions. Stick around, because coming up
Puede
next,
ser
we
por
have a live
localización
Q&A
o por un
with
error.
CD.
Yo aprovecharía cualquier cosa, Just saying. Para tener la razón, dice Neymar. ¡Woo! What the fuck, man, la cantidad de información.